May all your wishes
come true. I mean, is Edward Scissorhands a Christmas movie?
I don't know. I haven't seen it in so long.
I think it is a Christmas movie because there's snow in it. Snow makes it a Christmas movie. So The Thing is a Christmas movie. And Cliffhanger. Okay. Well, on that note, the champagne's been popped. The wine is flowing. You know where we are going. We are going on a backlight tour. I'm your tour guide, Captain Zach, as we always beans.
Yep. More Jana.
Whoa. I thought you let it go that time.
You know.
You're so tired.
I am tired and my throat hurts.
We're recording this on Thanksgiving for everybody.
Yes.
We're taking time out of our Thanksgiving night to get some important information out.
We saw Wicked last night.
We did see Wicked last night. That's not what this podcast is about, though.
I'm just saying, it's not easy being green.
And that leads us right into what we're going to be talking about. The news. This is we usually don't do news.
Also, I liked Wicked.
It was fine. It was just long. There's a lot of singing for me.
Zach didn't know it was a musical.
No, I knew it was a musical, but like there's two kinds of musicals. There's like, the Muppet Christmas Carol where there's like 5, 6 numbers. This one had like 10.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Well, it's
like 70%
Broadway,
singing.
where it's like
God,
the songs help progress the story.
Well, I just wanted them to stop singing and like progress the story.
It's not what you're.
It was fine though. I mean, for a person that's not a musical fan, I was like, it was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't like hate it or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone did a really good job. So
yeah.
Well, we're talking about being green.
Yes.
And how horrible it is for the Muppets right now because the news just dropped that they are getting rid of Muppet Vision 3D.
News just dropped like a week ago, but we're covering.
We
it
had
now.
we had to do a news update on this because like I have thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Because we were dreading this moment when they actually announced this.
Because and if you go back and listen to one of our earlier episodes from D23, our D23 recap, we were suspecting it was going to go there the whole time.
You could tell by the
art,
layout,
the concept art, and like what they were saying about how it's going to be like a show and a ride and 2 restaurants, and a store, and you're just like,
where else is there 2 rides and a restaurant and a store?
Yeah,
or 2 whatever, but like it's
disappointing. It's very disappointing.
And like the fact that they're like, okay,
happy 70th anniversary.
Hey, Jim Henson, the last thing you worked on, let's get rid of it and move the Muppets to a roller coaster.
And I
guess that's something, but
it's not something though. It's not, because
it's just a reskinning of a ride.
It's a reskinning of the ride, and then think about like, okay, a show is something that everybody can do.
Yeah, you need those.
Our kids cannot do Rock and Roller Coaster. I can barely do Rock and Roller Coaster.
I mean, I'm having trouble doing it these days.
Like
I will ride it for the Muppets though.
So you've just kind of taken it away for a whole group of people who either can't or don't want to ride a Rock and Roller Coaster, and like kids who can't. I don't know. It makes me upset.
All that aside,
plus I love Aerosmith.
I want that the show to remain the same. Just redone with Muppets. You can get Ileana Douglas back, and it's all like Electric Mayhem doing like, I think that's perfect. We can get a stretch limo. I want all that to happen still the exact same way, just redone with the Muppets. That's what I want. I don't think that's going to happen.
No,
I mean,
I'm sure like the interior like of the ride will be better because it's like there's so little on the actual coaster.
Well, the whole ride is so like it's just like neon signage, like buildings.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of like blacklit signs and stuff.
I think it's going to be really fun and colorful still, but but like hopefully the outside is going to look more fun because it's like so blah out there. You go down Sunset and it's like you're like, oh, and the glitz and glamour of the roaring 40s, 50s, whatever, like 30s, I guess.
Tower of Terror is 1939.
1939, okay. And then you just turn the corner and it's just like a guitar and stuff. It just feels like it's just so. I never loved.
But like the Muppets are gonna fit in more there,
It's in my head, yes. Okay, this is, you want to hear my radical plan of what they should do?
Yes.
It would fix a lot of problems, and I don't think anyone would get upset. we do the original idea of putting the Monsters Inc. thing in Animation Courtyard. You give monsters right there. You can move Laugh Floor there if you want to, because it feels out of place actually in Tomorrowland to me. Move Laugh Floor there, and you move that little coaster experience, all right? Then that butts up against the rest of Toy Story Land / Pixar. You have your continuation of Pixar around that area now. Then you can move the Muppets Theater to basically where the Lightning McQueen is. You don't do the villains thing. You put the Muppets back there. You change the Rock and Roller Coaster to that. You make that whole area Muppets.
You know, I gotta say,
I'm not done yet.
Well, just pausing real quick.
It's gonna get more radical in a second.
It's so dumb of them, in my opinion. Like, they knew all along where they were going to be putting
they
monsters.
Just didn't want to tell anyone.
Yeah, they just didn't want to tell anyone.
You got to finish.
It's so stupid that they're like, we're going to do a villain show.
That's
where
really
Lightning
dumb.
McQueen was. And it's just like, why? How does that fit in with Rock and Roller Coaster or the Muppets being right there? And, you know, Fantasmic is practically a villain showcase.
Yeah.
And then, too, like, you're already going to have a villain.
You're starting to sound like Phoebe, by the way, when she had a cold.
Oh.
My sticky shoes.
Hello, my babies.
Hello, my babies.
And then, too, it's like you've got a whole villain land coming to Magic Kingdom. So you do not need a villain show right there. Like, yes, just make that whole area Muppet themed to move the show there.
You move the show there.
Yeah.
You make the whole area a Muppets area, and like it's more kid friendly also at that point because you have the Muppet Show still, which our kids absolutely love still.
And we love.
I love it. I've always loved it. We love it. Our kids love it. But okay, here's where it gets crazy. So now you have a vacancy. You can make that a continuation of Star Wars to connect to Star Tours at this point now. Because you have that whole area. You can reskin or redo even like, you can either leave Baseline Tap as is or make it the Cantina and keep it very similar. And this could be your entrance now to the Star Wars area because you have Star Tours.
Hang on. I was drinking my water and I couldn't hear you.
I'm pushing all the way up now because if you get rid of Muppets over there, you have that whole area to play with for Star Wars now. And you can make that more like the Tatooine that it should be.
So wait, what would you put in Muppet Courtyard?
I think in Muppet Courtyard, you do like, I think Baseline could become the Cantina, basically.
But I do love Baseline the way it is.
You make the floor look like sand. Like kind of like that like bouncy material that looks like, and make it all like yellow and like sand to go into that. Then you could still keep it into the cave like that. But that whole area could be a new Star Wars area in front of that part.
But again, what would you put there?
Well,
what are your ideas?
Okay, so you have Star Tours right here. So that's like basically a start. And that means you kind of have to do either you close off Baseline Tap and make it only on one side. And then you have all this other land to play with now where you have 2 restaurants back there. You have all of Muppet Vision, which is very large. You make another Star Wars ride. Because, let's be honest, Millennium Falcon sucks.
It does.
I would much prefer go on Star Tours over and over and over than ride that ride.
And Star Tours is amazing.
And then Star Tours, it's like, there's like no wait. But now you can have like another good attraction or maybe a 3D experience movie right there. Like the same kind of thing. Like you could do a Star Wars theater kind of experience of something. There's lots of things. There's so much space back there, and then you can connect all the Star Wars areas. Then you connect all the Pixar areas by having the Monsters Inc. on the other side, and then you have your own separate Muppets area.
It definitely make way more sense, but Disney's stupid right now.
That you know how much that would crush right there. Like what I just said, like all those things. Like because you could do Monsters Inc. and Laugh Floor. All in that one area. Yeah.
Well, they are talking about, or maybe speculation, I can't remember if it's been confirmed or not, that like the Laugh Floor will move to the Muppet Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
which also brings the question, what are they going to do with that empty spot in Tomorrowland? Because, it's like, they haven't
already got dead spots with like the Stitch.
Yeah, they haven't even filled that. Well, it's been how many years?
Like I said, it just doesn't feel like those two things would fit anyways. So it's like, you could.
The last thing that like the spot for Stitch's Great Escape was used for was the Tron store when that opened. Yeah, and sometimes they do like a Stitch meet and greet during the parties.
It's almost in like a no man land. It is still in Tomorrowland, but it's on the way out almost or the way in. So it's like
it's still fully part of Tomorrowland. I know, but like it's not a no man's land.
I don't know what you do, but I think my idea of like you fix your organization because Star Tours belongs with Star Wars Land. This way you can do it. And then Monsters Inc. does not belong over there. You move it closer to where all your Toy Story Pixar stuff is. Mm-hmm. It's like the logical thing. And you make it, and then no one gets mad that you got rid of Muppets. You still have your Monsters Inc. and you have your Monsters Inc. laugh floor there. And you can have like a few more, like you can have a Tatooine bar. You can actually do the cantina with like an animatronic, like Figure and Dan band playing there. This would be amazing. And it would give them so much more space for the Star Wars area.
But Disney's not thinking like that. I don't know how they're thinking, or like, I don't know. Maybe there's some guy who pitched it and they're just like,
that would really screw up a lot of that area for like getting around, because it would really bottleneck right there. Yeah. But who cares? Just go the back way.
Yeah. There is no timeline. Yeah.
So if they hear me talking about this, then maybe they'll be like, "Oh my God, this guy's got a really good idea."
Yeah, but
like he just solved all our problems.
To read their statement, or a blip of their statement, they said, "In the meantime, there's still enough time for guests to catch a super stretch limo to the Forum to enjoy Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith and catch Muppet Vision 3D again before their final curtain calls." So there is time, and Disney will usually, they'll announce a closure generally a month beforehand, maybe a little bit longer.
So it's really important that we get this out there, because I think if me putting in the ethos, they hear this and they're like,
yeah. And when I say announce a closure, I mean like when they're like, it's closing on this date.
Yeah.
It's like, we know it's coming, it's closing on this date.
What do you think of my radical idea though?
I think it's a great idea, but hang on. And they continued with, as we move forward with these changes, we are having creative conversations and exploring ways to preserve the film and other parts of the experience for fans to enjoy in the future.
I.e., they listen to Zach and do his idea.
Which I'm hoping that means that either they do just scrap the villain show, or like once Villains Land opens in Magic Kingdom, they turn that into a Muppet show to go with it.
I think
then
I would be happy if they were like, we're moving the Muppets to where Lightning McQueen is, and we just scrap them. I'd be fine with that, but my idea is still better. Like leaps and bounds better. For an organizational standpoint, it makes more sense.
It does make sense.
Because I know there's not as many kid-friendly things to do there, but I think like the Animation Courtyard is not really doing anyone any favors.
Yeah. Well, what I am excited about is having a Muppet store. Because that was part of their announcement. They still don't have
Muppets. They're just like, nah. They just open it for a day and they're like, let's just close it again.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's not just the ride exit gift shop.
I want you to be able to buy an actual Muppet puppet. I want a Muppet puppet.
Yeah. But then also, too, if you go to the Henson Company's Instagram, when Disney announced this.
Just said, screw Disney. Oh, also, the other idea from the Muppet area, like you bring back that Bunsen and Beaker puppet that used to be at the front of Epcot.
Yeah. But, you should go check out their post. And basically what the caption says at the end is, as we learn of the show's upcoming closure in its current form at Disney's Hollywood Studios, we look forward to Muppet Vision 3D's next act.
I'm sure they're getting pushback already from this. So it's like, I think they're maybe...
So it's like, are they saying that they're just going to make a new Muppet Vision 3D show, like updated, or...
I don't want it updated.
I don't want it updated either, but, you and I hate change.
Well, it's like they did that one thing where they added like stuff from Muppets Most Wanted at one point, and I was like, I don't like this.
Bad.
I was already like, oh no, I don't like this shit.
Well, Muppets Most Wanted also just wasn't a good movie.
The Muppets was great, and then Muppets Most Wanted was like so bad.
Because Jason Segel wasn't involved.
Yeah, he really needs to be involved in everything they do. I feel like from now on, because they were off to like a good start, and then they just kind of tanked.
I feel like it's just they're gonna put Muppet Vision 3D on Disney Plus.
Ugh. It's not going to be 3D then.
No, it won't be. It won't have the same effect. I don't know.
I'm just hoping they're going to I'm hoping they're going to at least move it
yeah.
to, like, I don't want a villain show. And I'm hoping everyone's just like, just move the theater over to Lightning McQueen, and that's it.
Like, we don't need Pizza Rizzo. No. I'm fine with that going away. Though I do love the sign for It's Wrap Pizza.
I hope they keep that somewhere. They have all this stuff they can just move. The fountain, the gorgeous fountain.
That is the thing, too. It's like, what are you going to do with Miss Piggy?
Yeah. And they also just built that, like, storefront, or the quick service, or whatever that is right there.
The hydraulics.
Yeah, the hydraulic thing. I'm like, you just built that.
I'm sure that's going to be untouched, But, like, here's the thing, too. I don't think that they are going to do anything for, like, a year or two.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be.
Just because, like, one, they just refurbed the theater.
Yeah.
And two, Rock and Roller Coaster just went under, like, I think it's like a 6-month closure for complete refurbishment. So it's like they're going to wait until, that stuff is due
maybe
again.
Like a ton of people are going to go to it, and then everyone's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't get rid of it
or
move it.
No, and that's foolish. Because that is what happens every time that they announce that something is going to close. People flood to it, and you know what? It still closes.
The Muppets
and it's like
are very
Tim
self-aware.
Tracker always says, if you want something to stay around, you got to go to it while it's still there. And before they make announcements.
We go to this maybe 2 or 3 times per visit sometimes.
I understand there are people out there who are not Muppet people. I don't understand it, but I know they exist. So
I mean,
blame them.
You know how I feel about Kermit versus Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Kermit's better than Mickey Mouse.
I know you think that.
The Muppets are great.
The Muppets are grand.
The Muppets make you feel really good.
They do. They're wonderful.
Okay, so back to my Star Wars idea. What would you want to see there? If we had that whole area, the area is huge. I mean, you probably have to put in a restaurant of some sort in that area.
Oh, pod racing.
A pod racing, like, ride?
Yeah. Because if you're going to be on Tatooine and have the cantina.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
Do a pod racing ride.
Yeah. Or just like, what if they just did like a classic dark ride right there with Star Wars? Like, it's like not fast at all. It's just like going through.
That'd be funny.
It's just like a classic one. It could go through everything. What if it was just like a Clone Wars kind of experience?
That'd be cool, because I was about to say, like the thing is, like with the classic rides, is it's all animated stuff. Can you imagine having like a live action classic ride? It wouldn't make sense, But if you do go like a Clone Wars or Rebels route, I think if like you and Ryan want the continuity between Star Tours and Galaxy's Edge, so I think it'd have to be Rebels.
I mean, I love Rebels, so it's not gonna be a problem for me to be like, yeah, dude, no, do that.
So then you're on Lothal, maybe.
I don't want to be on Lothal.
I don't know. I want to be on Tatooine.
I want the cantina. Mm-hmm. I want you to have Mos Eisley and like and like at that point you could involve the Mandalorian. I think he was in like Mos Pelgo for that episode with like Timothy Olyphant. Like that's where they were. Remember when he like helped them?
Yeah, it's been so long since we've seen it.
Was that season 2 or 3?
2.
2? Yeah, we'll rewatch it. We'll skip the 3rd season though. Yeah. That's not really worth watching, but
it's not.
Too bad. But there's so much like possibility you could do, and you can finally join Star Tours with the rest of Star Wars finally, because it just feels weird like it is now. I agree. That's why Muppets was always on the chopping block.
I don't feel like it's weird, but
I don't know.
I wasn't agreeing with you.
I just think like you could like you'd have so much stuff like space to actually make a good ride and make up for your mistake of making Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. The only good thing about that ride is seeing Hondo Ohnaka in animatronic form to me. That's it. That he gets some love. That's the only thing I like about that ride. And that's not even the ride. That's the line queue. So
I don't know.
I mean, there's so much potential there for like if you reorganize like what I just said, it just opens up the door for some awesome stuff. And I think everyone's happy.
But this is just like this is fanfic, fan casting.
It's
like
everyone's happy. No one's angry about the Muppets. No one's angry.
It's not going to happen though.
What if it does? If you put it out there,
it would be very cool. But right now we're looking at the facts of the situation. That's Muppets is, as we know it, closing. And
what if? My idea is better than theirs.
Yeah.
They have shit ideas. Come on, let's be honest. Their ideas are terrible.
They have been quite terrible lately. It's almost like Universal and Disney were like, let's like swap houses. Like what was that show on TLC? Like swapping wives or houses or something.
Wife
swap, and they did that with the Imagineers.
The Imagineers just like left and went to Universal, and like all the Universal were like, let's just make this stupid.
Like, Universal like, let's go to Disney.
Why are you the way you are?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like since the pandemic, I feel like Universal is the one who has gotten it right.
I mean, I also like on this note, like I absolutely hate what they're doing with the Cars area that's next to the Haunted Mansion. That's so stupid.
I hate it so much. It's awful.
It's like I don't care if no one goes on like the riverboat as much. You need that water there. Yeah. You need it. It's gonna make Frontierland look so stupid.
And we're still like a ways away from it, but Disney did just announce that Destination D23 will be taking place in Labor Day weekend of next year, and that's the one that they do in Florida every other year. And this time it's going to be at Coronado Springs instead of the Contemporary, and it's going to be a lot bigger, they said. So I kind of wonder what more announcements we'll hear
they're
at that.
They're going to hear this podcast, and they're like, we've made a mistake. Let's do this.
Because I'm assuming then they're going to have hard dates for things of like, you know, either opening this time or closing at this point.
Anyways, any final thoughts on this? Other than my idea was amazing.
Your idea is amazing.
I was holding
sad.
that for a while. I wanted to tell you that so badly. And you're like, save it for the podcast. And I'm like, all right. But my idea is so good. I got to tell you. Can you imagine like though, like, you know, like Snoot or like one of the other Electric, like Mayhem just being like, that's a great idea. And like has the hand.
Well, that'd be Dr. Teeth.
Dr. Teeth just be doing that. That'd be awesome. And like Janice just being like, this would be a really good idea, guys.
I want to live at the beach and walk around naked.
How can you not like the Muppets?
I know, they're wonderful.
Anyways, final thoughts?
I mean, I'm bummed it's going.
They better figure this out.
Some of our worst Disney fears realized.
On that note.
Goodbye, my babies.
Goodbye, my babies.
Bye. There's a great big pretty okay tomorrow.
They say it like, there's a great big pretty okay tomorrow.
There's a great big pretty okay tomorrow.
And he's shining at the end of every day.
Except for the Muppets.
We.
The Muppets.
The Muppets.